All right, everybody. It is our MMA Junkie Radio pre-show. This is where we tell you who's going to be on the show today. We get a quip from the producer. He usually says something funny. He or she. Yesterday it was Victoria. And we kind of map out what today's show is going to be like. And I have an inclination that today's show is going to be dominated by Conor McGregor talk. It was on the big screen up here at Mandalay Bay. People are saying the fight is getting really close to being done with Floyd Mayweather. That's right. But I did say Floyd Mayweather. For those of you who are going, what? But he's a boxer. Yeah, they're trying to do a super fight. Why? Because you're going to buy it. That's why. Because we're junkies. We have no choice. It's in our blood. Although I ain't going to be happy about it. It's going to be one of those where I think get a lot of people together, split it. I ain't paying no Pacquiao numbers, though. I don't remember how much that pay-per-view was, but I wanted... George, 100. How much was the... It was $100?
$100.
Oh, man, that was brutal. That changed...
80 in standard definition, 100 in HD.
Damn. Nobody bought that 80, huh? There's no way.
I mean, there's no reason. Just get one more buddy to kick in $20 and get the HD. I mean,
yeah. Or, like, do you think there's cheap guys that pay the 80 and then go, yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. The TV must be on the fritz.
And then try to get the hookup?
Something, man. That fight changed the landscape of Las Vegas for a good year, I would say. Because what happened was every place was trying to sell you that fight.
Yep.
They were trying to put you through the ringer. Some places were charging $600.
Yo, I was out there. Yep.
Dude, it was brutal. Here's the problem with Vegas. They know they got you. You're going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is, when I go back home in California or something, if I go, hey, I want to take 60 of my friends to your lovely restaurant, want to have a good time, that person on the other line is going to go, sure, my friend, let me hook you up. What can we do to make this day enjoyable for you and your party? You do that in Vegas? And they go, whatever, maybe we could fit you, maybe we can't.
Yeah.
The reason they do that is because they know that if 60 people come through that door and decide they want to go somewhere else, 60 other people will show up right after them.
True indeed.
So the prices get hiked up. You get treated like trash. Not all places, but that's what Pacquiao and Mayweather did. So after that, establishments out here realized, well, normally we charge $100 for you to come watch fights. But guess what? Just a couple weeks ago, they paid $6. So why don't we raise that to $2 or $3? And that went on for a while until they realized people were going to get fed up with it. And the number went down a little bit, but still pretty high. There's still an effect. Hi, George.
It's still beyond me why some days I can comment and some I can't.
Would that be your question
Some days
to the
I can
Facebook
just-
guy, Zuckerberg?
Yeah. Some days it just says like or pin comment, and other days I can directly reply to people. And I can't understand why. This morning I just finished replying to everyone on yesterday's show. But there's times when I can do it during the show, and then there's times I just can't do it at all. Oh
You just
boy.
want an explanation, right? Even if the explanation is some days we feel like your comments are dumb, you just want an answer,
Oh
right?
yeah, I'll even take that. But I just don't get how it's just available one day and not the next. I log in the same way every day. I guess I'll just re-log in and see what's up. I'd rather try and do some of it during the show. And oh boy.
For as much as technology has made our lives easier,
30 seconds.
it's made it very frustrating at times. Especially when you can't get an answer to something.
Yeah.
Answers are helpful.
I'm willing to take identity fraud and all that every once in a while if it means I ain't got to write a check or carry cash. It's a trade-off.
I don't get it.
10 seconds. Here we go.
10 seconds, here we go.
This is your captain speaking. we are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby,
Good,
on
wait.
MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All
Give me a
night
message.
long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space,
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
we've solidified our combat communication stranglehold
We are controlling transmission.
with the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Go.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our next, our ace co-host. Back east handling the producing duties, it's going to be Sam today. And sitting to my right is the number 2 flyweight in the world, Joseph Benavidez. However, he's also in our top 15 pound-for-pound best fighters walking this planet.
He's
Wonderful.
also in our top 10 favorite co-hosts.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love lists.
Welcome.
So this is nice.
Lists are cool.
You want to see the pound-for-pound list?
Uh,
Tell me if you agree or disagree, all right?
okay. I mean,
Subjective.
it's so subjective, so
Right.
it's so tough. But I mean, I like DJ and Jones at the top.
Right. And there
Already.
you go, 1 and 2. So if you're on the MMAjunkie website, which is probably one of your open windows there on your desktops at work, or it's probably one of your popular apps on your mobile phone,
Probably the home
tablet.
screen.
Right.
Should be.
If you hit rankings, the heavyweight. That's the
Wow.
definition of a pound-for-pound guy, a guy
They
that can
fought
do
at
it.
both weight classes.
You don't need to picture. People used to say if Brock Lesnar was a lightweight, he'd be Sean Shirk. You know, how would he do? Well, when some of these guys test the waters of different weight classes, we don't have to wonder. We've seen it. Daniel Cormier is proof of it. Conor McGregor, 21-3, holds 2. Held 1, held 2, still holds 1. He's the lightweight champion, and he relinquished the featherweight title, but he's done it in 2 weight classes in 2 different promotions. He did it at Cage Warriors as well. Jose Aldo, 26-2 overall. I love these records. Look at that: 21-3, 18-1, 22-1, 25-2-1. That's impressive. Stipe Miocic. Now he's only done it as a heavyweight, but he's been smashing fools. He's been smashed. Like there's a distance between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in his performances. So there's a lot of criteria that goes into pound for pound. How are you doing amongst your division? How have you done in other divisions?
Already just in the top 3, I would change it to Demetrius Jones Connor.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
All right. Why is that? So it's a
two-
Cormier versus Conor
2
McGregor.
belts, you know, at the same time, the people he beat.
The road to the 55 title, though, wasn't very long. It was just,
It was
here's a
not
chance
long.
at the title.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
If Cormier, I don't know. Yeah, okay, it's subjective. All right, Aldo, Miocic.
You know, it's just like I think even though John Jones is number 2 pound for pound, it's always in my head that he lost to the guy at the best guy at that weight at 205.
Jones?
Jones, yeah. Like Cormier.
He hasn't lost to anyone.
No, Cormier.
Oh, Cormier, yeah.
Yeah, even though, it didn't happen, like it's always in the back of my head like, well, he lost to the guy in his weight class.
Right.
That's
why he's
so
below
there's
him.
Jones. Yeah. But in that same weight class, so if we're talking all the weights, I feel it has to be spread out where Connor, I don't know, I mean, it's close.
Mostly
let's
you'll
go
see
with
the
tie.
champions towards the top.
Yeah.
And then the number 2s and number 3s from every division. So I'm progressing here. down to 15, where Joseph Benavidez sits at 25-4.
I wish
what
they
was
had
your career as a
I wish they
bantamweight?
had
Do you know off the top of your head?
I only lost twice at bantamweight, so
How many times have you fought at flyweight? Do you know that? We'll look it up.
Like 12, maybe.
So you're 10-2.
10. I
So
don't
that's
know.
12 fights out of 29, which leaves you with a. Oh,
It's
but
got-
you fought featherweight and lightweight too, right?
Got
Yeah.
6, right? That aren't even that don't
5,
exist.
yeah. I know these records look awesome, but I'm actually 30-4. But I mean, 25-4 is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. So either way,
That
yeah,
four's not
I
gonna
think
go
I was
up, right?
12 or 13-2 at bantamweight.
Is that the highest the loss column will get?
Yeah,
Or-
that's the plan.
So it's just a matter of padding on the others.
Exactly. Yeah.
You think you'll get to 35-4? You think you have 10 fights
Well,
left in
you know what? That's the thing is when I get to 30, I'm going to be like, damn, I'm 35. That sounds way better. It's not, 30, my 30 wins, my 30 10. But, we'll see how it goes. I feel good taking care of myself and everything. So, it's different in this sport. It's not as much about like, hey, how many of this or how many years or how many. It's kind of the mileage, And like, I feel like mileage-wise, I'm pretty good, Haven't, had a ton of injuries or anything crazy like that. Haven't been in like crazy wars and stuff like that. Obviously some great competitive fights, but just training smarter now and everything. So, even though I know it helps you, like I didn't wrestle all through like college and all that and like terrorize my body those years, although I drank heavily throughout those years and did nothing, which might be the same, but like the mileage of the sport, I feel
How much
is really
did you
what it's
drink
all
a day
about.
when you were drinking?
Oh my God, like no telling.
Was
just,
it like
just
one of
all
those
day.
like I go through a case of beer, I go through a bottle
Case.
of whiskey? Like what was your poison first of all?
everything, and like I would basically black out every day,
Damn.
like every day. So I mean that takes a good amount. That takes like 20 plus, drinks, all then mixing that with drugs at night, of course. Well, during the day, everything. It was weird. Like that time in my life was so weird because it was like I seriously blacked out every day. I didn't know any other way. I didn't know any other way. I'd wake up, start drinking, and it would just be a daily thing until never in that period of time do I remember like, guys, I'm gonna go to bed, like that kind of thing. It was just always like I would
Where
just
you ended
somehow
up with
I'd
your
just
bed?
somehow fall asleep and somehow then I'd wake up not knowing.
Or were some bizarre places you woke up?
Oh no, I mean sometimes it'd be in my bed or just on the couch or on the floor
maybe
or
like a
whatever.
park bench
But it was
or-
never like, well, I think I'm gonna call it a night. It was
Yeah.
like the alcohol told me when I was passing out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
But you never
Like
woke up
every
on the
time.
steps of City Hall or a park bench. Like you just went for a walk and passed out then.
Oh yeah, I mean there's always that. I mean I've woken up in places outside houses and places I don't know
Yeah.
or remember.
Wow.
But typically like every time like blacked out. So therefore when you're doing that you're putting other people in danger and yourself in danger all the time.
Were
So-
you able to go back and maybe repair some of those relationships that you feel like maybe, like old friends? Because if I had a friend like that, as much as I love the guy, I think at some point I go, all right, maybe you're doing too much damage on my side here. Did you ever have any like regrets or any friends like that you had to go back and repair those friendships? Because you're a completely different guy now.
Yeah. You know what? Not as much. Like my friends were on the same page as me that whole time. And I think that's kind of what it was. And also for me I was just a reckless like drunk. I wasn't necessarily trying to hurt anyone, although I could have a million times, and that's why I kind of like thought I could have stopped because it was just getting too close to that point of hurting me, myself, or someone else. But I was just a reckless guy, like kind of crazy, not like, oh, I'm gonna like hurt this person right now or be angry or mean. So it was more just honestly when I stopped trying to get back to the point of like being myself but still keeping those friends because they're on a different page than me. Like if you guys go out ever and you're not drinking, like you don't relate to a bunch of people that are drinking at the club or vice versa. So it was more that as like, man, are these guys just my friends because we would just party and do drugs and have fun all night? You can have fun with anyone doing that. Are these my friends? So it was cool just kind of attaching that again and then like now just growing as adults and now talking and seeing like, oh well, yeah, they were always my friends. We just happened to be at a different time, you know, at that point. So, you know, it wasn't much as repairing as much as it was like nurturing our friendship without the, you know, without all the other stuff, you know. So, because, you know, that alcohol and drugs, it can make you think or whatever, you know. A girl's hot, a guy's cool, like whatever, you know, you can, you know, it totally sways the mind. So.
I saw that you were in New York. You went to a Spurs game.
I did.
You actually met up with some of these guys on the court. You talked to them.
Dude, yeah.
First time doing that?
First time.
Manu Ginobili,
Dude.
Tony Parker?
Dude, yeah. Like, I had the biggest face boner ever the whole time. I was just like, and they were the nicest. Everything you'd expect from the Spurs franchise, just like great, good guys. Like, you know, they don't go out. They probably like went to a play that they're just awesome guys. They were so nice, so personable, and then obviously like talented. Crazy story that you led into that. So that's the crazy thing. So as the night I stopped drinking, I remember I went to jail. All this stuff happened. Okay, like a lot of stuff happened. I was wearing, so like at one point I was a lowlife that like idolized Manu Ginobili. Like I was getting arrested, I remember, and I was wearing a Manu Ginobili shirt that I made as a screen printer 12 years ago. You know, I made the shirt and I was like, I need to make this because the Spurs are in the finals. You know, they're going to the finals. I made a Obi-Wan Ginobili shirt that I still wear, and I remember getting arrested in that. Like that guy I just idolized as some drunk lowlife, like cheering for the Spurs, and then like, you know, 12 years later, like, not that we're the same or whatever, but like we're sitting there both as like peers in sport, I guess, like on the court, and he's happy to meet me, I think, or so he seemed. And, like, I was obviously happy to meet him. And, like, I didn't even think of that till after. I was like, man, like, the night I really, like, everything kind of changed for me. I was wearing, like, a Manu Ginobili shirt. So I was just some guy that, you know, I idolized him. And now we're kind of like, hey, what's up? You know, so.
Did you share that story with him? Or
I did not. I did not. It was. I didn't think about it till after, like I said. And then my wife actually, you know, reminded me that. And she's just like, I'm so proud of you. That's so crazy. She reminded me. And then I was like, oh, that is crazy. But then, like, I met Tony Parker. He's awesome. Patty Mills, who's another of my favorite players on the team. And, like, low-key, like, one of the coolest guys in the league. Like, wears good clothes, has a cool, like, wife and dog. Like, I was following him on Instagram. And he was just the nicest guy ever. And Spurs lost to the Knicks, but just the experience was, like, it was crazy. Game. I was just sitting there watching them warm up. Like, the ball was, like the guy was shooting, like, right there. And it was the coolest thing. Like, I had an awesome
thank the Knicks, but who set it up?
Well, because the Knicks, one of the Knicks guys from Madison Square Garden that my wife knew from doing the show there. You know, she met a lot of the security guys and stuff, and she actually got tickets for me to the game, and they gave us those tickets. But then our security guard from the UFC, Ken, he's new. He just joined the organization, and he is everything. The guy's awesome, like exactly what we needed. Like such a good addition to the security team. He's a legend. Handles business. He actually used to work kind of freelance for the Spurs, so he knew their security guy. So the security guy's like, hey, like we'll get him some shirts. I'll walk him on the floor. So it was all just kind of all things coming together. You know, with our UFC security guy and my wife getting me the tickets. So
it would have been, you would have capped it off. I noticed the Spurs were winning throughout that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened at the end. I didn't watch the game, but they lost a close one.
Yeah, it was a close game. It was close, but you know, it's a regular season. New York probably needed that more than we did.
Oh
so,
yeah, they had high expectations. They don't even have a 500 record.
Dustin Hoffman was there hanging out.
Yeah.
Luke Wilson, Spike Lee, of course, saw him. So it was pretty cool. New York is just another animal. Like, I can never live there, but visiting there is awesome. But even visiting there is just busy. Like, I just don't get it. Like, people are there. They're like, yeah, well, I just walk 10 blocks in the morning. Then I get on the train. Then I take the train for 45 minutes to work. You know, sharing a ride with people.
Right? Yeah.
Like, doing stuff like that. And I'm just like, and they're like, that's it, though. Just like 10 blocks. I'm on the train for maybe 30 minutes. Like, sharing a seat there, crowded, like on another. I'm just like, they think that's easy when I'm just like, take that and then like, all right, I walk down my stairs, get in my car, and then drive in like no traffic.
And you don't shovel snow.
Somewhere, yeah, like stuff like that. Like everything is just so hard and like convenient there. I feel just living there, even if you live in the best spot, So it's kind of weird, like even just staying there and living there and seeing how how everyone lives. But I mean, it's an amazing place. Like I could spend a long time there. Like my wife, used to live there, so she was showing me the ropes, and she used to do the same thing. So it was pretty cool going back and flashing back.
How was that subway ride? I hear there's crazy people that spit on your shoes and shit.
Oh, we got lucky. I guess there's pretty crazy people in the subway. The only thing I really got to see was some guys come in and start singing gospel music on the Sunday for the Lord. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take a picture of these guys. Megan's like, no, they'll make you give them money. I'm like, they're gospel singers. They're not asking for money. This is the word of the Lord. Like, they can't just ask you for money, too. And, and then sure enough, I was about to take my picture, and the guy, like, put out his bag, and I was like, oh, it's just, like, stretched. Because I was like, I didn't even have any cash anyway. I just wanted to take a picture to get the real New York, vibe. Because it was cool. These guys just go on the subway and start singing gospel music to everybody. And it's really, like, everywhere you go there, you just feel like you're in a movie. Coming to America, like the Taxi Driver, kind of like everything. There's so much culture there. It's crazy. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Hey, so when you run into old friends from junior high or high school and you kind of revert back to the way you were then, cracking the same jokes and all that?
Right.
When Megan goes back to New York, does she just kind of go back into New York persona?
That's funny. Not really, but when she's on the East Coast, I don't know if, like, she hears some people and then it just kind of, she just has a few words that, like, like coffee, like, I don't even know how to say that, but, like, coffee, water, and, like, some things, like, the little accent will, like, come out real quick. And she walks like a New Yorker everywhere, actually. She's, like, the fast walker and I'm the slow walker, like, in my sandals, just, like, dragging my feet. So she reverts to that, like busy. But she's always like that, like, kind of, like, straightforward, all business. She loved being on the show as well. When you guys had her, like, she was just, she loved it. She's like, oh, tell them hi. I had the best time on there. So yeah, she had fun.
Tell her we said hello as well. In fact, 2 weeks ago, somebody tweeted her and attached us.
Yeah.
And asked her, to co-host again, and she seemed very open to it. It's just that at that particular time that I read it, I think that was maybe when
She was
not
ready
Brooklyn,
to leave for a trip.
Houston, or one of those was happening, and I just kind of put it on my notes.
Yeah.
To do it. I figure you guys living in Vegas, if we can bug you guys twice a year, I think that's pretty good. I don't know if three's like, bitch,
as
two's
much as
good.
Dude, I love it out here.
So I don't know.
I love coming down.
I try and just, like, wait a little bit of time, catch you, like, in between a camp.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Megan's busy too. But
dude,
let me clean up a couple things here.
Let's do it.
That night of the Ginobili shirt,
oh my God,
you got arrested, and then, like, what was it about that particular blackout, or was it the arrest that finally you said? Because it sounds like that was, I don't know if it was rock bottom or if that was turning the page, or what happened that particular day.
Shoot, you know what? I love you guys. I'm just gonna go. Like, I don't feel like I've really, I guess I haven't really told people, like, in live stuff, like, why and all that. Like, people know maybe I'm sober, maybe I was a wreck, but, like, that particular night I actually crashed my car.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I was 100% blacked out, like 4 times over the limit of alcohol, like 3.6 blood alcohol content, where, like, people die. Like they're like, oh, people die from way less blood, like from alcohol poisoning with way less than that. Your tolerance is crazy. So I crashed my car, and the funny thing is I actually had a chance to, like, leave and just, like, flee the scene. Like, some buddies were there. Like they, like, followed me. Like, oh, we have a small town, so they pulled over on the side of the road. They're like, let's go. Like, get with us. They'll never know anything. And I don't know. Something in me, I wasn't like, oh, I want to get caught or I want to do this. But I was just like, oh, I don't, think I could do that. And I was, like, still trying to, like, move my car or whatever.
Not trying to be a punk here, but it was your car, right?
Yeah, it was my car. Right. It was my car.
I'm asking only because if you leave the car, it'll revert back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if maybe it was a stolen car, then yeah, I guess you could technically pull that. What your friends were saying.
But I could say my car was stolen, is what everyone,
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
okay.
I could be like, I don't know. I've been here.
Yeah.
I was drunk. I couldn't drive. Whatever.
So they're trying to get you to.
But anyway, basically, I crashed my car, and, like, I wake up, go to court in the morning. They sentenced me to, like, 30 days in jail. 40 days, and I did 30 days in jail. And I just sat there, and like it was at that point, like that's kind of what you're asking, like that point where I knew like it was rock bottom. Like I'd been to jail before, 4 days, 5 days, and stuff, you know, for various things. But I don't know, that time it was just like, man, it was hard. And I remember like I was steadily on drugs for like, you know, days, weeks before that, every single day, and drinking obviously every single day for years at that point. And I even remember like you know, I've seen in movies and stuff, is going through withdrawals, like because I couldn't drink, you know, after like the first few days. And I remember feeling that and everything in there. And I don't know, it just helped me. It was just, you know, obviously when I got out, everybody was like, hell yeah, you haven't drank in 30 days, like let's go to the store. And it was that point where I had to figure out, because obviously when I was in there, couldn't drink, wasn't going to, didn't really think about it, you know, thought about a lot of stuff, read books, which was weird, well, nothing to do. But I remember got out, and it was at that point where I kind of got out. Now I was free, and it was more like, you know, my friend telling me, hey, well, dude, let's get a 40, like you haven't drinking the whole time. And it was at that point where I had to like kind of be strong, and I just knew, like I saw, you know, I kind of went back out and saw like I don't want to go I can't jump right back into this. Like I always knew, I don't know, like I wanted something better in my life, and it just wasn't that. Like I didn't know it was going to be fighting. Obviously I didn't train or anything at that point. I wasn't like, I know it's going to be fighting, I know it's going to be this, I know I'm going to be on, you know, MMA Junkie radio in Mandalay Bay. Like it was nothing like that. I was like, I just want something like better than what
This
I'm
is crazy
doing
what I'm
right now.
listening to right now.
So who
Yeah.
was the most supportive person for you at that time?
Yeah. Yeah, the most supportive person for me, honestly, would have been, his name's Daniel Moffat, and he is, he's like one of my best friends. So that was well, actually, there's two guys, because my friend that got me out was like, let's drink. And I'm like, no, and a lot of my friends didn't understand, you know, they were just like, dude, well, you can still drink, we'll just stay here. You can't drive anyway, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, but I don't think it's the right thing for me right now. You know, I just kept doing that daily, and I'd have to ride my bike to work, and then I started like picking up jiu-jitsu and boxing, so I'd ride my bike basically for a year all over my whole town. But yeah, Moffat, like, I love that guy. And the funny thing is, he lives in Sacramento, so this is a whole another crazy story. So like basically when I got out of jail, I lived in a house, you know, with the lease and everything, with all my friends, where it was just like the party house. Like all we do is drink and do drugs there and get crazy and rage. And Moffat was moving to Sacramento, and he's just like, hey man, I couldn't stay with, I didn't go and move in with my mom at that point, because we've always lived in like a 1-bedroom house. And at that point, my little brother lived there, and he had some kind of major issues at that point too. You know, like he ended up going to prison and stuff. I've talked to you guys about that. But he had some issues at that point too, and like as did I. So I wasn't going to go, like, although I wanted to be with my mom, she's always going to support me, but it was like there's also someone else in there that like I couldn't really, you know, do this with and recover and support with, because, you know, he had his own problems going on as well. So my buddy Moffat actually talked to his mom and was like, hey, can Joe just stay here, like, in my room? I'm leaving anyway. So I ended up living with his, like, mom for a while, just to, like, have somewhere to live that was, like, a safe haven, where, like, I knew I wouldn't, like, you know, be doing drugs in the bathroom or going in the kitchen and getting beer and stuff. So, yeah, I stayed there for a while until, yeah, I really kind of just got everything together and was able to get my own place and eventually train, move out. But, yeah, they were super supportive. Then I had another friend, Mike Lotta, who now lives in Denver, where I also live. So it's crazy. Like, my two friends both moved out that were supportive of me. So this guy was just as much of a mess as me. I remember getting out of jail, and I get in my room, and, like, my buddy's like, oh, you shouldn't go in your room. And I was like, why? He's like, well, Mike's kind of been staying in there, and it's kind of a mess. And, like, by a mess, I meant, like, there's throw up all over the bed. There's just, like, beer cans and, like, crap all over. I'm just, like, a mess. Like, I can't even, like, be in here. Like, there's throw up everywhere. And the guy was crazy too. And at that point, I remember getting like starting to be sober, and he was kind of like, hey, you know, I kind of want to do the same thing. I need to. And me and him were just kind of like each other's, you know, like, let's go eat and play trivia or do something like that. And the great thing about this guy now, he is an emergency medicine doctor now, and his wife's a doctor, and he is just like living the dream. He was able, like, before his residency that he just started, to quit his job for like 3 months and just travel the world because he had money saved up. And then now he has to start like his, like, you know, partner or whatever. He's an emergency medicine doctor, and like neither of us drink, and we hang out in Denver now.
Do you remember?
So that's kind of
when
crazy.
about like the year this happened?
Yeah, this was 2005.
Were you in San Antonio at that time?
No, I was in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I only lived in San Antonio till I was 5.
We went to San Antonio in 2004. We went to a Spurs-Lakers game
Yeah.
there, so I'm just trying to put pieces
Yeah.
together.
No, yeah,
But
this
I
was
was in
yeah.
New Mexico in
Yeah.
2005, and here we are in 2017. He's on that list of the top fighters that walk this planet at any weight.
Just
That's
getting your life back
inspiring, man.
in order would have been a huge accomplishment. But on top of that, being able to do what he's been able to do to this point is amazing.
And the reason he says there's irony in his friends and where they live is because Sacramento was home. That's when he was with Team Alpha Male, and now you're out in Denver with, I guess, do we call it Team Ludwig, or what do they call it there?
Well, it's my team
and Muscle
actually now.
Farm.
Well, I train with Dwayne, obviously.
You have your own team now?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is
I
it
made
just
my own team
you
last time.
And
It was, well,
just
last
you and
camp it
that's
was me, Brandon. You know, had that Shorty Torres from Legacy out there, Tim Elliott, you know, Eric Shelton, all those guys. Because when I went down there, I obviously wanted to train with Dwayne, and TJ's always there because TJ's on Muscle Farm, Team Elevation, and trains with Dwayne as well. So he's always there, and he's always going to be a training partner. But then I went out, and I was kind of like, all right, TJ's the only one. He has his own thing going on, you know, fighting Lineker, and, you know, doesn't necessarily move like Cejudo, even though we're going to get great goes every time. And Muscle Farm doesn't have a lot of small guys. Like, their smallest guys are like 45, you know, and it's just not similar to what I needed. So I was like, this has been my idea for a while, is just bring in guys that I need to do, you know, let them live in my house, train for free, basically.
In Vegas or in Colorado?
In Colorado. I have a place down there as well. So, you know, let them stay in my house, let them train, helps them, they're helping me. And yeah, so that was kind of my thing. And I just, you know, it was something I always imagined. Like, I have like 4 people. I'm only going to spar with 4 people anyway. It's not like I'm sparring with the 40 guys on the mat. So I even like have them all around, got my own private kind of sessions. Obviously, Dwayne is kind of like my head coach, reporting back and forth to Robert Fallis down here. And he's awesome. So yeah, I named my team /gang /kind of group /kind of idea lifestyle. We call ourselves Strange Little Men.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, we were talking about that last time. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of my thing. And then, but yeah, it was just a thing to do on my own. Like, picked my coaches, basically, picked my training partners, and made my own team. Kind of like invested in myself, rather than, hey, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna pay this gym, and, you know, I'm going to use whatever coaches, like, they told me I should use. I'm like, oh, no, I like this coach. I'm going to have him. Oh, I do like this coach. I like this guy. These would be 3 good training partners. And, yeah. So that was kind of where I was at the point of doing now.
This is Joseph Benavidez, UFC Flyweight. We're going to take a break here. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. 5 minutes. We'll be right back in your life.
Here are my life coaches. Everything I've done has been under their strict supervision. Here are George's Goes and George.
All right, we're back. And again, we have Joseph Benavidez here co-hosting with us today's episode. Totally opening up in his past, but I'm feeling pretty inspired seeing this young man, coming back from that story he told us and to where he is now. Now we're going to put that on hold. And callers, we will get to you, I promise. Right now, we got to get to our second guest of the day because Joseph's our first. He's our co-host as well. So Todd Grisham joined the UFC a couple months ago. And first of all, follow him on Twitter, @GrishamMMA. But I've seen his work on WWE, which goes – you were there yesterday.
I was.
At Raw. And ESPN, now Glory and the UFC, and also some boxing. So he's a busy guy. He joins us now on MMAjunkie Radio. What's up, Todd? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hello to Joseph, and hello to you guys.
Hi, Todd Grisham.
Well, welcome to MMAjunkie Radio.
on?
It's great to have you on.
Thanks. You said he just gave you guys an inspirational story about how he got where he was. I missed that, but to me it sounds like this is the Oprah show. I thought we were talking about fighting here. What's happening? What's going on?
Oh, we got real Barbara Walters-ish on here, man. You know, that's the thing, though. We got depth as fighters. You know, everyone just looks at us punching each other's brains in, but you know we got the depth.
You guys
as
got
well.
stories to tell, right?
Yeah, everyone got here some kind of way. So, you know, I'm sure Todd has his own. Everyone, I feel, really does. That's kind of why I never also talk about the stories. So, like, everyone has a story to tell. To me, in my mind, or that's what I think. You know, everyone's had a tough road or whatever kind of road to get here. Even just, you know, waking up and passing school and going every day. You know, and staying consistent. Like, everyone has a story. Everyone that's, you know, to get to where we're at. So it's awesome to share it with you guys. Thanks.
Exactly. We all have a path.
Yep.
Todd, what got you to, I guess, broadcasting, journalism? I mean, was that just your thing growing up that you wanted to be involved in sports one way or another?
Yeah, well, my dad traveled a lot with his job, so he'd go to, Europe for 2 weeks or go to another part of the country for a week or so. And we used to love watching baseball and football together. So when he'd be gone for 2 weeks, I'd write down all the games he missed and the score. And then when he came back, I would recap all of them. Dad, here's what happened. This guy did this, and Gary Carter threw a guy out at second base, and then Tim Raines hit a home run, and the Expos won 6-3. So I was always into describing the sports that I saw. And, my mom one day was like, you're going to be the next Howard Cosell. So that's kind of, it always started there for me, and I wanted to be a radio DJ, not the kind today where they got the MacBook up there, but where I was like, hey, welcome to 102.7 KISS FM. I was that guy. So I did that for a few years in college, and then started doing my sports shows for ABC and CBS at local affiliates. Went out to Tucson, and then next thing you know, I'm working with Vince McMahon in the WWE.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And by the way, just because he brought up baseball, at any point in time do you want to say you're welcome to Todd for giving them Pedro Martinez, or the vice versa, excuse me, and what was that, Delino DeShields, Pedro Martinez trade or something like that?
Delino DeShields? Those are the days.
It involved the Expos and the Dodgers, didn't it? Yeah. I don't know too much about baseball, but I know there was a bad trade in there somewhere.
His kid, Delino DeShields, didn't he?
I used to love the Expos.
He took a baseball to the
I grew up in
face one
South
time.
Alabama.
How'd you become an Expos fan?
I grew up in South Alabama, but for some reason, I loved the Expos. Maybe because it was the team that was farthest away, but I used to love them.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
now they're dead.
You're not foreign to you're starting with the UFC.
Why are you making me cry?
But you're not foreign to combat sports, pro wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, and now MMA. What drew you towards combat sports, being that it seemed like you had a love for one of the big four, that being baseball?
Well, I hate baseball now. I can't stand it. But when I was a kid, I liked it. But when I was a teenager, when the UFC just started getting their wheels turning, I thought it was fascinating. I went to UFC 14 as a fan in Birmingham, Alabama. Mark Coleman, Maurice Smith, the main event. So I've always loved the sport.
Gotcha.
And then, as a kid, I also liked watching WWE, but kind of grew out of that. And as I grew out of that, I really started focusing on MMA. There was a period for like 4 or 5 years where I was watching every single pay-per-view. And then, I started getting into other stuff. And then, as I came back to ESPN 5 years ago, I was lucky enough to be the host of MMA Live, and so for the past 5 years, I've probably been to 20-some-odd cards. I got to interview Joseph Benavidez, who had our submission of the year 2 years ago, I think it was. So, it's been great. I love it.
That's awesome. And, when you first came on board, everybody thought, okay, this is the guy that's taking over from Mike Goldberg. I think everything's shaken out of that right now. We know that that's not the case. But will you be doing anything like in that capacity at all, or is it just hosting right now mostly?
No, I'm doing play-by-play on the card this weekend in Halifax.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I'm calling the fight. Yeah.
Very cool.
With who?
For God's
in Halifax.
Sake, do you guys do any research? What the hell is going on over there in Vegas? Jesus. Any specific reason I'm on to talk about calling the fights this weekend?
You are. No, you know what?
Okay.
Who's your color commentator?
That's going to be Brian Stan. He's a former UFC fighter. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
No, who's that guy?
The greatest living American? Brian Stan?
I think he's Canadian. I'm not sure. I've got to do some research on him.
Derek Lewis. That's one of my favorite fighters, man. That guy, he doesn't do much talking except with his fists, and he's got a good one. And his social media.
His Instagram is money.
It's hilarious.
His Instagram's money. I love it.
Is. You're
not even following a fighter. It's just like a comedy relief
for
Instagram page. It's great.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he knows how funny he is.
Yeah.
He's just putting stuff out there, and he's a character. He might be one of the top 5 follows on Instagram.
He's outstanding.
But let's talk about that main event with Travis Brown. Todd, I mean, everything basically is pushing towards Lewis advancing in this fight. However, in the heavyweight division, anything can happen. We're just wondering, when's Brown going to kind of turn it around? It seems like he's just been on this little bit of a slide these last few years after having so much promise.
I don't know. If you listen to Derek Lewis, he keeps saying that Brown's it's 80% mental, 20% physical, and that mentally he's just not where he needs to be. So he's been talking a lot of trash in that regard that you guys probably know about, and that hasn't sat too well with Travis Brown. So we'll see. But, I mean, this fight for Lewis is kind of the fight where if he wins this, and maybe we start talking about him fighting the Cain Velasquez's of the world and the JDS's of the world. And as for Travis Brown, if he loses this one, he's in trouble. If he wins it, obviously he probably gets another marquee fight coming up. So it's one of those typical crossroads fights for each of these guys. One guy trying to stop his descent, and the other guy trying to accelerate his ascent.
If you look at Johnny Hendricks versus Hector Lombard, there are a million ways this fight can play out. But what I wanted to get your take on was there's a little bit of a wrestling versus judo here. A lot of people talk about Johnny's wrestling pedigree, and I think they feel like takedowns can be automatic for a guy like that. Hector has shown that he's been able to fight those off. Then there's the striking. Everybody talks about Johnny's power punch versus Hector's, looping punches. But, I mean, they're both almost very similar in the way they attack. What do you think? How do you think this fight's going to play out, Todd?
Joseph would know better than me. So when somebody moves up a weight class, they always say, "Oh, I feel healthier and stronger." And when Johnny Hendricks, 3 or 4 fights ago, when he was laying guys out, his power was unrivaled in his division. Now that he's moving up a weight class, does he take more power with him? I don't know. Or will he have the same power and it's just not as effective? That's what I'm kind of looking forward to see what happens if he really cracks Hector good. What happens? And if Hector doesn't go down or doesn't seem phased, then what's Hendricks going to do?
Todd, when you meet with these fighters and you go through your meetings, you talk to them, are there certain questions that you like to ask every fighter, and is there anything you can read from their eyes, from their answers?
To me, my job, and sort of like what Joseph was talking about, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got an interesting path they follow. So to me, one of the things I always try and do is paint a picture where you care about these guys. You care if Derek Lewis wins or loses. If not, it's just 2 random guys fighting in the Kmart parking lot. Who cares? But if you can give me a reason to be emotionally invested in fighter A and in fighter B and care about who wins, then I feel like I've done my job. So the questions I usually ask those guys pertain to that. Why should, what's your mentality when you're going in there? Who are you fighting for? Some guys are fighting for money literally to see their families, So you see that desperation in the way they fight. Other guys are fighting for their careers, you know? That's what I try and find out from those guys. Whereas, you know, Brian Stan and Dominic Cruz, they want to get into the nitty-gritty X's and O's and strategy and counterattacks and that sort of stuff. I'm more of the, how can we make this guy more likable, you know, make you care about him more, make him be a star. Because if Derek Lewis goes in there and knocks Travis Brown out in the first round, that guy's going to be a star. So it's my job not to screw that up.
Todd Grisham, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Grisham MMA. He'll be calling the fights alongside Brian Stan this Saturday. UFC Fight Night 105, Lewis versus Brown. And the Fox Sports 1 broadcast starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with their main event being Santiago Ponzinibbio, Nordine Tellep, and then they keep going straight through the main card, which features Derek Lewis and Travis Brown. All right, so Todd, listen, this Lewis-Brown fight, in my opinion, I think Lewis could be looking at a title shot, maybe not off of this fight, but for sure in 2017. Your thoughts? Do you think he's on that trajectory? That last fight was it wasn't Lewis's best effort.
Right. Well, you know, at least it showed he could go into the later rounds. I mean, he won in the fourth round by knockout, so that was good that we saw that from him. His cardio is an issue. He even said that. I think after he beat Victor Pesta, he said, listen, I know my cardio ain't that good. So as far as being a well-rounded, all-around knockout machine, a guy that can win by decision, we don't know if we've got that yet in him. So maybe on some level it's a good thing if this goes 5 rounds and he wins a definitive decision. No one's expecting that to happen. But if you ask me, like, who's the one guy in the heavyweight division that people are fearing and that this guy could be the next champion, I think it's Francis Ngannou right now. But, you know, depending on what happens on Sunday night, interjects his name into that conversation.
It was Lewis up until Ngannou's last fight, and now I think Ngannou's the one that's kind of has the most momentum. Lewis has to steal that back. It's good that he's getting back on the saddle after that last fight. You could tell it left the bitter taste in his mouth. And by the way, don't sleep on Felder versus Ricci. They'll be starting things off, but both guys love the bang. I cannot wait for that one. That's again, this weekend, FS1, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. Todd Grisham, our guest here. He'll be calling the fights alongside Brian Stan. Todd, thank you for joining us here on MMA Junkie Radio. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we can do
hey, no problem, guys.
Another spot with you down the road and get to know a little bit more about you. Thanks, sir.
All right, guys. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Thanks, Todd.
Derek Lewis, beast, isn't he?
He's awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
my God, yeah. Folks, seriously, I'm going to look it all up, and I'm going to give you his Facebook, his Instagram, and his Twitter handle.
His Instagram is...
Follow him immediately. Yeah. You will die. In fact, go back in the depths of what he's done the last couple years.
Go back to the beginning.
He's hilarious. We're going to take this last break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM. Rush 93, Joseph Benavidez in the house.
They can drink Mentos-flavored Diet Coke without their stomachs giving a single fuck. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
So thank you to John for setting that up with Todd Grisham. Boy, I dropped the ball. I thought it was more of an interview to just get to know Todd Grisham. He will be calling the fights with Brian Stan. It's on Sunday, not Saturday, so I could not have done any worse. I'd be shocked if Todd does the show as long as I'm on it. It may be one of those where Goes is flying solo, and he'll make a return appearance. So apologies to them, to the Fox team. But enjoyed talking to him, and we're looking forward to his call. I was just telling Joseph didn't get a chance to hear UFC 208. I thought that team was it was a little bit rough, but I'm a fan of all three individually. However, the cohesiveness of the team's not there just yet.
Takes time.
It will take time, but I think they can figure it out. And I love hearing all three's commentary. So it's just a matter of, can they make it happen? I think they can, but I guess that report card for me would be kind of like a C, I guess, on that team. And then we'll see how Stan and Todd Grisham do. I've seen Todd do WWE, ESPN, so I'm familiar with his work. He's definitely a pro. But once again, the fights are on Sunday with Derek Lewis and Travis Brown. Also, yesterday, I misspoke, Goes. You know, I guess I did line up the Jared Brooks interview. It was my idea to follow up on it, but our girl Amanda definitely made that happen. So I didn't go 3 for 3. I'm not as great as I think. All right, this is Joseph Benavidez. He's in-house. He's co-hosting. We're going to get one call in here, do it quick, and then we'll turn it over to the second hour. It'll be wide open, and we can finish talking to Joseph about Strange Little Men and everything else he's got going on in his life.
Everything.
He's been an open book so far, that's for sure. Is this Brandon in Louisville or Brian in Louisville?
It's Brandon. What kind of stupid name's Brian?
What's up?
I'm gonna take that.
It says Brian right
That was
there.
creative.
So, way to go, Sam. How you doing, Brandon?
Doing all right. Good talking to you guys. Joseph, when MSG Security hooked you up with tickets, if they would have said we need an extra, they would have said we need an extra body in case Oakley shows back up, would you have passed?
I would have said, I'd love to enjoy the game, but if I can sit in my seat and then just, tap me on the shoulder if you need me, then, I would have been down. Anything to get in there, like that was a dream come true for me to get over there. That was actually my first time in Madison Square Garden, so to go see my, all-time favorite sports team and meet, a few of my, idols, really, I guess, on the bat and sport, wise, it was really awesome. Yeah, so I would have helped out, even though I like Oakley too. And he's kind of scary.
The reason why I'm calling. Yeah,
tell you what. Let's put that on hold, Brandon. I thought we had a little bit more time than we did, but you definitely deserve more time because you've been on hold forever. Let us get through the sports update. When we come back, we'll start things off with you. You down?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, cool.
Hold up that, Brandon.
We'll
Thank
put
you.
you back on hold. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back.
Bye.
You know that scene in Star Wars where Darth Vader tells Luke he's his father? What if I walked in right after with my voice and was like, I'm your Uncle Walter. Can I get a lift home? That'd be crazy, right? Anyway, here George and goes.
You want to know what's getting on my tits? Okay, so the Patriots won an incredible game last week, right? Kudos to them. Have your parade, and you're more than likely the favorites for next year, because next year they get Gronk back, and it seems like the team's healthy and they're well coached, and the quarterback play is phenomenal. But as I watch some of those shows like Inside the NFL and NFL Turning Point and then these damn highlights, them being inspired by Brady, how he was telling the team, let's not give up, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. I'm sorry, but that happens on every sideline of every football team in every game in the NFL season. There's one team that's up and there's one team that's down, and it may not be 24 or 28 points or whatever it was in the Super Bowl, but it could be 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, and the quarterback is slapping the lineman saying, we can do this, believe we're going to get this win, this, that, whatever. So at the following Monday or Tuesday when they have Inside the NFL or the Turning Point, you're going to show it, and everyone's going to go, we had to believe. He's our leader. He's this. He's that. If you would have watched, I think it was overtime or maybe when New England had closed it, there's footage of Matt Ryan going up to his lineman and saying the same thing, and had they won, he would have been the inspiration. Man, they're all saying that. Like, stop with that. They came back because collectively as a team, they just all played better. Not because Brady willed them to victory. He had to play well, that's for sure. But the coaches drew up better plays. The defenders defended. The guys blocked. Everybody rose to the occasion because it was Super Bowl. It wasn't because of one guy inspiring. Trust me, I've seen this on many sidelines. Shut the hell up with that already. Yeah, it's pissing me off.
That's funny you mentioned that because I feel the same exact way. Like with fighting, everyone talks about like a destiny and this is meant to be. And, I've had a lot. I feel with things like that, it's exactly right. It only is when it is. Like, that only worked when it worked. Like, someone else could do the same exact thing and it couldn't, Like when someone says, oh, everything was supposed to work out, I wrote it down and then it happened. It's like, all right, well, what about everyone else that wrote something down and it didn't happen? Did they just not, write it nice enough or whatever? Like, kind of same thing like that. So it is funny. That's why it's kind of just like everything's just kind of blowing on a breeze, and like happening or not to me, just because
life's a trip.
I've had, yeah.
Yesterday, my girlfriend and I were going to an event, we'll call it.
What kind of event?
I don't want to lose street cred. So we're driving, right, to this event.
Nah, I want to know.
Yeah, because we want to picture it.
I'll do it if you share a poem.
Ooh.
Well, I only have like 2 or 3 that are shareable.
Really?
Yeah.
But you've shared one before.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. I'll
okay,
tell
maybe.
I'll
okay.
tell it. You've already been an open book today.
Yeah.
So we were driving to Wine and Canvas night, right? She asked me to go, and I said, okay.
Wine and Candles night. That's a perfect
Wine
regular
and
thing.
Canvas.
Yeah.
That's not my thing,
I love art.
I know, but I'm terrible at it, for
That's
one.
Good.
And 2, I guess it's just not my thing. But she loves it, and therefore I wanted to try it with her. Right?
Yeah.
But as we were driving, we were going down. Anybody that's in Vegas, picture this: down Cactus, and we're going west to east. And we had just passed Southern Highlands Parkway, and there was a line of cars that had to make a left-hand turn opposite of us. All right. It was so long that it kind of broke up where people would exit out of that gas station next to Del Taco. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So as we're going that way towards the freeway, a car just popped out and cut us off.
Ooh.
And as we're crossing, we're probably going like 45. So I don't know if they saw us, if they rubbernecked it, or if someone gave them the go-ahead or what. But I turned to Juliet and I said, wow, I go, 1 second. Like, if we literally are going a little bit faster, just 1 second sooner, it would have been a pretty bad collision.
Your car or
Not for
hers?
us. I think we would have gotten them. And you don't know if you I didn't stick around. I didn't do the finger or anything like that. I'm not, whatever.
It's not worth it anymore.
I'm just wondering if she may have had a little kid or someone, like that was a risky move on her side of things, But I was just thinking, wow, like these accidents that the other day we saw an accident. It was pretty bad as well, and I'm just thinking, how close are we all to missing these accidents, these things that happen,
People rushing just to get home.
Wherever you are in life, what brought you to there? And there may have been an explosion or these gunmen, they do these things. It had me thinking. She was driving.
It's a trip.
And I was just sitting there thinking like about that for literally about 5 minutes. I was in a fog just wondering about life, like, you know, whether you believe or not, like if somebody's up there making decisions, well, it's his time. Move that car, or whatever. I don't know.
When we first started driving, our mom would always tell us, like, anytime we try and catch a light or something or just rush something, do you remember what she would say?
It's better to lose a minute of your life than your life. No, a second of your. Wait, what? Yeah, a minute of your life because that's the red light.
Yeah.
Than your life in 1 minute.
And the rest of it.
Yeah.
And that would always stick in my head anytime I have to make one of those moves. Just take your time.
Right.
Like, it's not going anywhere.
It's going to be there. Yeah, it is crazy. Like, no one's destiny's like, oh, get in a car accident, but, like, things just happen depending on when you leave and when that person does. And that's the crazy thing about driving is you're basically just trusting that everyone on the streets isn't a complete idiot psychopath.
Oh, and texting
like,
has me
That's why it scares me to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You could be the best bike rider or driver on the planet, but there's everybody else.
Yeah.
I tell people, look, I consider myself a good driver, but I'll be in my own lane, 10 and 2 or just 1, but concentrating. Not texting, not changing the channel, not talking to anyone. And there's just times where maybe I drift off, like, oh, did I remember to do that, or do I have to pick something up? And as I do it, I'll hear the brrr, the divider lines. So that obviously is me saying that I just drifted off. There was no distraction. I drifted off. So why would I want to ride a bike on a major street where people can just do that? Not even if they're texting or not. Much less now in a world where people are texting and they're careless. So if I rode a bike, I just do it on the sidewalk, or I would do it like at a park. I don't even know that I do it on the street. We got to get back to Brandon from Louisville.
It's a wild word.
He's been holding for a long time. What's up, Brandon? Sorry about that.
No problem, guys. How's it going? I just got the visual of George riding a bike, and I lost train of thought.
Did I not have a seat, or what? What happened here? You want to finish the punchline?
The guy from the Guinness World Book?
No, there's a seat, but there's a seat, but the tandem with goes, and that's just weird.
Okay.
So UFC's coming back to Nashville, which is cool. It's a 2.5-hour drive for me. I like that. If they're not going to come to Louisville, at least they're coming somewhere close. And they announced the main event, Cub Swanson and Artem Lobov, and that doesn't exactly.
That's the main event?
Joby.
Really? That's interesting.
And that doesn't, as Joby put it, give me a face boner. But, it's not a bad card, really, top to bottom. It's got some good fights.
Brandon Moreno.
So I'm going. Yeah, it is Alves and Sam. Alvey. It's got some good stuff. It'll be decently priced. I'm in. My issue is everybody's picking apart the matchmaking, and like I said, Swanson and Lobov doesn't make really any sense if you just look at the numbers and the matchup and really anything. But there's so much that goes into making this fight, and people have no idea what the fuck is all up with contracts, with people that have declined fights, who's scheduled, who's got to get a fight in the next few months for the contract. And maybe Joby can, talk to this since he's on the inside of it. Joe Silva was 6'4" when he started his job as a matchmaker. The ultimate stress of that job is just insane. And for people to just completely shit on a match without knowing what happened is just kind of ridiculous in my mind. Like I said, I'm not thrilled with it, but maybe that was the best they could do.
Well, the one thing they needed to do was start ticket sales, so they had to announce something. Cub's a big name. Artem, he's got some popularity through the reality show, and then he was, he's Connor's homie. So there's probably a social media presence there. But you're right, they're not at a point where those two guys should be fighting.
It's an odd matchup.
I think they just needed to give you names to start selling tickets. Iaquinta's coming back. He doesn't need to be fighting Diego, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. He's a ranked lightweight, and Diego's been falling. But
that matchup, though, is great when you look at it, right? You're just like, oh, wow, these guys are going to get after it.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a fun fight.
Yeah, fun.
But I just think that Iaquinta's in another place. Now, he hasn't fought in almost 2 years, so who knows? So what I think, Brandon, will happen is in these next few weeks, it'll fill in, and hopefully you'll get one more matchup that I think you can get down with and say, okay, that's solid, here's my money. But in the meantime, they have to launch their campaign because April 22nd is just over 2 months away, and with all these other fight cards, they literally have to get things going.
Cub doesn't have very many options ahead of him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I said, I'm defending the matchmaking to an extent. It's just the unabashed hate for without even really knowing what went into making that match is just kind of ridiculous in my mind. I mean, everybody's always the first one on the wagon to bash the UFC. Hey, let's give them a chance and maybe, think that, hey, this is the best they could do. Yeah. I got to go, guys.
All right, we'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, Brandon.
Later. Joseph, how about this? I'm going to get to Mike in Jersey. He's up next. But
okay.
I got to ask you, when are you fighting next?
Oh, man, we're in negotiations really right now with stuff. Really just started picking those up. The Hayes fight this following weekend in Brooklyn. I guess something kind of rode on that because we were kind of waiting to see how that figured out. And, like everyone says, I think Hayes made the best case there could be for Benavidez Demetrius 3 because they were going to give him the title shot if he won, which he did. But, I don't think anyone would think he should get a title shot after that fight against an unranked opponent. And actually,
Hayes didn't make a case?
Yeah, Hayes did not make a case. He made a case for me to fight DJ again, is what I'm saying. And the guy that he fought, I've trained with him. He's tough. He's scrappy. Hayes went out there, but at the end of the day, I mean, the guy, he's fought his last 2 wins are unranked opponents. He's great. I feel like, to get the title shot, you have to beat someone that, is above you or at least, has gone for the title or something. Me and Hayes were supposed to fight before. I don't think DJ's fighting until July, and I don't really want to wait till then. So if Hayes is the other name you want to throw in there as a new contender, what better way to prove going for a title shot than fighting, me, who really is the other name in the flyweight division. And if not, I get the 3rd shot, which I think is the biggest fight in the division anyway, and will always be, for a time being, while we're in it. I think when people think of the division, it's me and DJ, and they would watch me and DJ 6 before they would watch some others, like more people would. So,
damn, I thought you were gonna make a case for why Hayes should be out of the chase, but here you're saying that you're willing to fight him. You don't want to wait.
I'm willing to.
Just wait till July?
This is what I'm saying. Is after that fight, they were kind of like looking at Hayes, let's see how he does, which is kind of weird. Like, let's see how this guy does against an unranked opponent. I love Hayes. I respect him. He's cool. We talked at the hotel about the same thing. He's like, yeah, I'll do whatever I have to do. But after that fight, there's 2 options that Mick, the matchmakers, should have moving forward for the division. Is the first option, me and DJ 3. Is the next option. I beat 6 guys in a row and beat the guy, right below me. The second option.
Yeah, I thought that's what the coaches thing solved in December.
That's what I thought as well. Okay. But you never know. We think all sorts of things, and who knows. So now they're talking Hayes, and just even bringing him in the equation is whatever. So the only 2 options at this point, me and DJ 3, or me and Hayes to fight DJ. And as far as I'm concerned, I think those should be the only 2 options. Moving forward.
Wow. So DJ won't be ready till July?
I don't know. That's what I heard at first, but now they said maybe May. So if it's May, it might be a quicker thing, but something that he only wanted to fight in Vegas. So whenever he's going to feel ready is like the next show's July. I don't know, but also as a champion, sometimes you have to wait until a contender kind of rises above and there's a right fight for you. You've seen DJ's been lucky enough to be a pretty active champion, but at some point, especially as a dominant champion, you got to wait for these contenders to grow. And I know I'm always there, and people always watch that fight. But, if you really want to throw Hayes in there, let it build up. And, if people aren't quite sold on another fight with us yet, even though they'd watch it, let us do that. So I'm just saying, yeah, I'm willing to do either. But that's what I heard. From all I know, DJ could be like, what is he talking about? I'm ready to fight in April, but that's just the word.
You're ready to fight whenever.
Me, yeah, I'm training. I'm always pretty much ready.
How does Demetrius look to you now? Has he changed any from the last time you fought him?
You know, he's not really necessarily. He changes every fight. I think what he does so good is he changes every fight, kind of to strategy on his opponent. You know, he fights every guy different. Like if he fought me the way he fought Dotson, or the way he fought Elliott, or the way he fights everyone so different. You know, and I think it goes a lot to just his coaching and his preparation, and really. Everyone knows kind of how they want to fight, but he goes out and executes. But he doesn't fight guys the same. You know, he doesn't fight, me, Dotson, Cejudo, and, Tim Elliott all the same. You know, he has different things he goes out there and does. So it's pretty impressive. He shows different tools, but it's like he's always had those tools, and he just, when an opponent is open for them or, he knows he can exploit them there, he goes and uses. So it's kind of different. I feel now that me and him have fought twice, well, really once, in my opinion, it's just like, he'll probably go out there and fight me similarly, but I don't know. It's weird. I know his confidence is up there. He knows he's one of the best, and that makes a big difference in this sport, is that mentality we're talking about, and believing in everything. And, he's done all the work he had to and beat everyone in front of him, and everyone tells him, hey, you're one of the best ever. So his confidence is obviously there. But I think Tim Elliott in that fight showed a lot of things that now can exploit, DJ, in my opinion, where DJ's always shown just all his game. You kind of saw some stuff that, could help any other opponent moving forward.
Let's go back to the calls. 866-522-2846. Mike in Jersey. What's up, Mike?
Not too much. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hi, Mike.
Not too much. Joe Benavidez, you're easily one of my top favorite fighters. You're in my top 3 for sure.
That's outstanding. Thank you, because there's some awesome guys out there.
Who are the other two?
DC and Johnny Hendricks.
Okay.
All right. Nice company.
That's a good list.
Yeah, those 3 are my ride or die. I don't miss those fights.
You're the man. I appreciate that.
I kind of want to put you on the spot, though.
Uh-oh. He buttered him up, and now here comes the hammer.
I love it.
No, because he was just in New York and got to meet his, some of his favorite athletes. I was wondering if he was going to be out for the Junkie Gathering, because I'm making my first trip out, and I would love to meet Joe B. And I have like 1,000,000,001 questions for you.
Yeah.
But
dude,
I was wondering if you were going to be at the gathering.
Yeah, I love meeting everyone, meeting fans, meeting everyone that supports me, and obviously I love Junkie as well. And
you've done one before,
and I've done one before, and it's been a few times where I just haven't been here. And if I'm in town and the things are right, and is that like a fight week kind of deal?
It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend. If there's fights, and if I don't have something to do, I will make my best effort to make it down there, and I'd love to meet you as well as everybody else. So, hey, man, if it's something I can do and, help people and just, have a good time in general, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, if the schedule is open, which, can change from day to day, I'll definitely be there.
All right, awesome. And I'm going to take this off air, but what about Horiguchi as an option for you?
Okay, thanks, Mike, for the call.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's another option as far as, like rankings and stuff go, as far as, the people I haven't fought also. But, the only thing with the Hayes thing is people were talking about him for a title fight. That's why I'm kind of, going down that route. I'll fight whoever I have to, especially in the top, ranking. Horiguchi's a guy there. And, he's on the same road as me where he's fought DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And now trying to get back to that. So we're kind of both there. Where Hayes is, they're trying to bring him in as a new person. So, but I don't think someone new should go for the title without fighting someone in front of them, or, fighting someone that has already been there. So, and like you said, Hayes was more chirping, and so was the media, and that's kind of why that's there. But obviously, Horiguchi, as far as rankings and opponents that I haven't fought go, I mean, he's always there as well.
Do you still manage yourself?
His Ortiz wins fine is good for me. I don't like the other two leading into a title shot. It seems like there's not pop going into it. Now, I get it.
Yeah.
DJ kind of cleared out the division. So back in July, Hayes kind of was just the last man standing. But then we ran into the reality show, and in the reality show, the champion had to fight the winner. So when he was able to come back healthy, they couldn't feature Hayes. And in that reality show, you had two coaches who unselfishly coached these killers to face the champion, but their reward was, in my eyes, the winner gets a shot at DJ. Now, Cejudo really benefited from that because he was coming off the loss to DJ. So to really pull off that stunt, it would have been great for him. This man's been putting in some time, punching that clock. Won 5 in a row. Then he gets to Cejudo, wins 6 in a row. I thought you were
the
next.
show in between, which was
I thought you were
huge,
next.
I think, for the division.
And I thought, and I would say this even if Hayes was there. I'd say, Hayes, honestly, you were there. We were going to support the fight when it was you. But I think he was the.
But even that matchup was kind of odd, yeah.
Yeah, the timing, the circumstances. But once we get through here, then Hayes needed to do a little bit more against Sasaki, in my opinion, to really grab that title shot by the throat, and he didn't.
And even then, it would still be tough.
If he was being featured, which I don't even think he should be featured, I would match up Sasaki and maybe Horiguchi, But I think you have yourself something here, because here's what else can happen. I know Joseph's 0-2 against DJ, but if he wins, he really shakes up the division for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people would be thanking you because it moves things around.
I should have done it long ago.
So, I don't know. I think I roll with having DJ and Joseph part 3. They conceded Chuck and Tito part 3 in the reality show because Dana knew that, okay, this is kind of like the hand we were dealt. And I don't think Joseph's played that hand. I think Joseph has actually earned it. 6 fights in a row since losing to DJ for the second time and knocking out some of the best guys along the way. So that's kind of how I feel about that, man. But now you said, what did your answer goes? You do have a manager or you don't?
Oh, I do now.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just going to say, if I was your manager, I don't know what you would tell him, but if I was your manager, I'd say wait till July.
Yeah, I mean, we're on it, but, I mean, that's – yeah, if that is the first option that I'm given, that's something I will do. I'm just saying I'm willing to do either, and I'll take either option. But for me, those are the only 2 options. They should be the only 2 options. So
how's this thing tearing you up, or is it, with Cody versus TJ here in town? And guys you're familiar with on both sides. Now, I don't know. I don't know anything about what's happened in the last week or so, but I did see one Instagram post from Danny Castillo, and it looked like TJ's wife didn't take too kindly to it. I don't know if since then they repaired or not, and it surprised me.
TJ's wife didn't?
Yeah, because you remember that, right? Castillo said something along the lines of,
was it the
team? You stay loyal to your team, and if you look at the comments, Rebecca, that's TJ's wife, right?
Yeah, she's sweetheart.
Stated, Danny, that kind of hurts because we've always supported you, blah, blah, blah. I left it at that. I don't know if there was subsequent posts. Do you know?
I don't think so.
So, and it also took us by surprise because, A, Danny's solid. He seems like a nice guy to me. And B, he's actually been one of the guys that's flown out to Colorado and benefited from some of the training that was out there.
Yeah.
So it kind of did seem like one of those where I didn't understand why that came. But that's not my question. My question to you is just, how's all this been working out? Are you still cool with everyone?
I'm cool with everyone. And, in a way, I stay out of it, so I'm not in the middle of it at all. Like, I'm not going in the gym. I'm not doing anything of the sort, helping either team, helping either, because I do. I love both guys, and I wish them the best. I'm happy that they both got this opportunity to, shine on this platform, and I think it's cool for the division. Like, couldn't happen to 2, better fighters in right now. But it's hard, yes, between both sides because even though I don't want to be in the middle, I mean, in a way I'm stuck there. I train with TJ, but also, Cody is a good friend of mine. Danny, all the guys at Alpha Male still are. Fight week, when Cody won the title, I went out to dinner with those guys. Right after, drilling with TJ in his locker room. Go in and drill with him as a partner. Then I went out with Danny and Buckles and all those guys. And even though those guys were teammates with TJ at one point, they're team Alpha Male, they're team Cody. Regardless. So. Man, it's hard, man. I mean, and it's definitely hard for them because they're in there every day, and they're seeing their old teammate, and now they're supporting a new one. And I've talked to Danny a ton, but I talked to everybody. You know, I haven't been able to see any guys, but you know, I'm not trying to go in there and be actually against somebody as much as like, hey, you know, I'm doing my own thing. I can, if someone can, you know, I care about this person, I care about this guy. I'm not trying to go against anybody. So
you'll decline the invite if either team asks you to come in for the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I already, you know, told the other coaches, like, yeah, I'm not going in there, but, you know, whatever happens.
And when they do fight, can you be open about the fact that will you be cheering for TJ or Cody, or what will you be cheering for?
No, I'm not cheering. I mean, I'm not cheering. I'm just watching. You know,
right?
I think it'd be even hard for me to like really go over.
So you're
there
pretty tight with Cody too, then.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay,
we're cool.
For
yeah,
sure. I thought you were gonna say TJ, like no offense to Garbrandt, but I felt like maybe there was more of a bond on Team Dillish.
No, I mean, you know, I obviously trained with TJ and have known, you know, TJ way longer, but you know, in the short time I've known Cody and everything as well, you know, we've we've gotten pretty close while we were there, and you know, we've gone like kind of ups and downs even when I moved, but you know, we actually talk, you know, quite often, like Snapchat and all stuff like that, you know. So it's just cool, you know. That was never my doing my own thing was doing my own thing. It wasn't ever to go against anybody. It wasn't like, hey, now I'm against you and against you. You know, it was always like, I'm gonna do my own thing. Sorry, it happens where someone else you don't like, or you know, somewhere else you don't like, or whatever. But you know, it's never to do that. And I think as the time has gone on, everyone has kind of realized, like, oh yeah, he's not trying to harm anybody. It's just really his own thing. Because at first it was kind of hard, even with Cody, Buckles, Danny, everybody. You know, obviously Danny came and helped me on the show for Team Benavidez on Tough 24 as well. So he was there. But I think as over time they've realized, you know, like, oh, that's kind of how it is. And, you know, it's different, you know. But, yeah, not getting stuck in the middle of that and just, you know, going to have my popcorn every Wednesday watching these guys.
All right, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We're going to take this commercial. When we come back, we'll have 30 minutes left here with Joseph Benavidez. So if you want to call in, it's 866-522-2846. We'll start off with Hal from Chicago and Vegas Ford.
things going on. But that's the best way to describe how I feel.
They are the Wright brothers of mixed martial arts. They are Gorgeous George and Goes, and this is MMA Junkie Radio.
Let's blast through these calls, and then we'll finish up with our questions for Joseph Benavidez, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Jojitsu. Hal from Chicago, what's up?
Hey, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Trump's immigration policy. Just kidding. Joe B.
What up?
Just pretty sharp dresser, man.
Thank you.
How much of your how much input does Megan have in your wardrobe there?
Honestly, I mean, I love her, so if she likes something, there's been few times where, like, I might not have got something or bought something or worn something, but if she's like, oh, I think you look so great in that, and, you know, I'll do that. But typically, you know, I dress for myself. Like, it's kind of weird when someone says, like, sharp dressed or, like, fashionable, because it's just kind of like, I never really think of myself as that as much as just, like, kind of, like, stylish. Like, you're, like, it's cool. You only kind of feel as cool as you look, and that's kind of what I go for, you know? Like, there's a difference between, like, fashion, like, looking at, like, a mannequin and being like, oh, I'm going to wear that because that's, like, what they're telling me to wear, and then taking a part of that and feeling a different way. So it's just, it's different. But, yeah, Megan will tell me to buy stuff. If she likes it and I don't, sometimes I'll be just like, all right. She buys me a ton of stuff that she thinks I would like, and obviously she likes. So there's that. But for the most part, man, I'm on my own page. Like, this sweater, I don't even know if people can see. Like, I got this at the Goodwill 15 years ago in New Mexico, and that was 15 years ago at a Goodwill. So that probably puts another 15 on it before it even got there. And, you know, I still wear it till today, even though my jeans are new and, like, designer. Like, I can still rock, you know, like, the sweatshirt. So it's just all about feel, man. I try to just be versatile and not, like, stick to one way or one, like, trend or what's going on. It's just, you know, everything. But the sharp dress, like I said, like, that's awesome, and it feels weird, but I'm just like, I guess. Thank you. You're a hero.
Well, hey, and now I got to give you a stun gun for using face boner. I mean, face boner? Come on, man.
Yeah, like face boner?
You're better than that.
No.
You're better than that. Come on.
I'm not actually. I'm not better. Like, I'm a good person, yes, but I'm not better than anything. I am just, you know, I'm myself, and I can be terrible, and I can be great, and I can inspire, but I can also be a piece of trash. So, you know, that's not really a stun gun, man. But no, face boner is like one of those things, like, you're so happy, and you're obviously not sexually aroused, but, like, your face, it just says everything on your face, like how excited you are. And that was, you know, how I felt when I met, you know, some of these guys I've idolized and watched for forever compete and be happy to meet me. Is I had a face boner.
Like,
so
the look on your face when you listen to you too, Hal. That same look.
Yeah.
Why, I oughta. Look, all right. Hey, what do you guys, see, you threw me off with that now, man, all right? But I don't see how boner is not sexual. How is boner, it just conveys too much, you know, I want to stick it in your mouth kind of thing. You know what I mean? So,
face.
But hey, maybe that's just me, you know? Face, yeah.
All right, Hal.
All right, well, you know, I'll just leave it at that, man. Take care, guys.
All right, we'll see you. Vegas Ford is up next. What's up, Ford?
Hey, guys. Goddamn you guys for having me agree with a Viacom employee like Hal. But yeah, Joe, you need to go ahead and retire that face boner thing, guy.
Never.
Face boner?
How could you guys not enjoy that? You guys obviously.
I got it. Got it. You were excited to see them, and so what you were saying was your face was probably like, whoa, like
I'm not to that point of sexually aroused, but, like, my face is aroused.
And the thing
is, I'm excited.
You know that we can record people when they're on hold, and I have a clip of Ford if you want to hear when he was on hold.
Yeah.
I got a boner.
So he liked it.
Oh, he liked it. All right.
Oh, you liked it. That was you. Perfect. So now he's coming on air in the general public and trying to act like he's better than us, is what he's doing.
No. I'm not better than anybody. That's for sure. As a matter of fact, George, we're straight now, right? George, I'm no longer in arrears with you over CM Punk.
You are correct. Ford gave me the equivalent of what it would take for me to go out there and get a Chipotle burrito.
Hey, man, I'm just saying,
He's
think about yourself and what you do and you say in private, and now you're on public like, oh, face boner is so wrong. Think about some of the stuff you do and say in private, you know, just because I'm saying it in public and it's not even that bad. Like, think about some of the stuff you might say or do, you know, and just think if you were under a microscope where people were listening to you all the time, texting or whatever, even if it's out of context. So, you know.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So just think of that.
I don't agree with you. That's why I say
yeah,
in
so it's
private.
not bad. So don't come on air and act like oh that's wrong, you know, because people are listening to you.
Oh damn! But all those flavors, brother. You going salty on me?
Not good. Also, go ahead.
Anyways, I just wanted to kind of chime in on that three-man booth topic you guys were talking about earlier. Yeah, they kind of stepped over each other a little bit, but overall I thought it was pretty good because the card was pretty lame. And sometimes, you know, but those guys were having so much fun, you know, just joking and a lot of banter going back and forth that I think it really probably helped that card a little bit. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. I think for hardcores, it was enjoyable. I think for people that are looking for a professional broadcast, which is probably, you know, the networks or whoever, they for sure probably want them to button up. And then, as I've always heard, because it's not really my background, but you want to broadcast like you're talking to a 5-year-old, because there really are way more casual fans than hardcore fans that want to know, well, what's the severity of a leg kick? And, you know, all that muscle, does it really mean that they're going to get winded faster than the guy that maybe doesn't have as much? And, you know, they want to know a lot of the newer things from the sport that we've heard for many years. And I think that's something that you would have gotten from the previous broadcast team. But maybe it ran its course. I don't know. But to answer your question, I do enjoy them all individually. This one was rough, but I still was okay with it.
Nice. And then the other thing I want to touch on real quick is that main event of Swanson and Artem. You know, Brandon earlier, I know he seemed to be kind of offended about the way some people were taking that fight. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's really so much the fight is that it's just not a main event. It's not even a co-main event really. At the end of the day, I mean, if you're trying to sell tickets, I mean, is that really the fight that you go with? So there's nothing wrong with the fight itself, but I think just as a headliner, I mean, it's
right.
Bellator class.
And you would probably agree that it resides mostly with Lobov, right? Because Swanson versus anybody is a main event, anybody in the top 10. But I think it's your frustration comes more from Lobov being part of that.
Prices play a lot into it too.
Yeah.
If the ticket prices are lower, then I'd be okay.
How much
with
are the tickets? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just needed to be another top name, I think. And people would lay off, and plus, you always want to come strong with a co-main as well. If you're gonna do that, and I don't think they've established that one yet. I much love towards Quinta coming back after 2 years. Diego, all the time they put in, but it still needs, I think, to be higher ranked cats in a division that are doing it. That can be your featured bout, which is the third one down from the main event. All right, Ford, we got to move on, man. Thanks for calling in. Let's go to Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco?
Marco from Waco, ¿qué pasa, vatos? And Joey Juan Kenobi.
¿Qué pasa?
Hello, Marco.
Hey, happy little flying naked dude with a bow and arrow day, man. I don't know what you guys are going to do to celebrate, but we're going to a fancy restaurant with my wife today.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Right. Yeah. Hey, let's talk MMA, dude. You know, I've been getting annoyed with fans and some pundits up there talking about the narrative that the belts are not being defended, that they're not following the rankings, that the UFC doesn't think about this like a sport. Then I took a little deeper look at the fights that have been announced in every single division at the top, you know, where the belt holders are. And all of those fights make sense, man. Jędrzejczyk Andrade is projected, you know. Then you got Nunez versus Shevchenko. That's cool. DG is going to probably fight Joey Juan right here. And that would be fantastic. Of course, you got Dillashaw Garbrandt. Aldo Holloway signed up already.
Yeah.
You know,
you're on a roll.
Nermi Ferguson,
yeah.
Absent Conor McGregor, that is the best fight there. Then you got, of course, Wonder Boy on.
Which could have been Maya Woodley, but I get it. All right, it was a draw. That's what Dana wanted.
Yeah.
The middleweight Romero Bisping, if it happens, yeah, I guess you're right. Anthony Johnson and Cormier,
their own course, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's absent of the championship fights. Maybe there's some questionable headliners like Swanson and Lobov. But yeah, you bring up good points.
Okay, that's all I got to say today. We're gonna leave you guys. Can you tomorrow?
He's dropping the mic. All right, see ya.
He made a solid point though.
Yeah.
I want to bring something up. I'm going to show you guys.
I mean, if we're doing that, then we need me and DJ.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys a video here. On the background here. Okay. This is the UFC 209 trailer.
Okay.
I want you guys to watch this and tell me if you pick up on anything. And I am going to start it from the beginning because that's what we do.
One of the craziest fights I've ever seen in my life. A rematch for the title. Woodley hurt him. He hurt him bad. He has vicious knockout power. Unbelievable resilience by Thompson. We will do it again. Let's go. Khabib's dangerous on the feet, on the ground. He is an absolute phenom.
Tony Ferguson just mixes it up beautifully. You don't know what's coming.
A rematch that everybody wants to see. And a fan dream fight.
What did you guys pick up on that? If anything.
If anything, did they not sell
Alistair and Hunt?
What Thompson did as much as they did like Woodley? Like
I'd have to go back and watch that.
Oh, I don't know.
But the first thing I picked up
I didn't really pick up on anything.
If you guys notice, all of the highlights, Goldberg's voice was not involved in anything.
I was going to say that, but I was looking more at the 4 athletes.
Yeah, so it was all Rogan and it was all Anik. And I got a little sad when I heard that because I started thinking of whether you liked Goldberg or not, a lot of the iconic moments in the UFC are tied to his voice.
Yeah.
Right? And I hope that's not something that's going to happen going forward because it was a part of history. I don't see why there should be a reason. Yeah, he's not with the company.
Well, check this out.
You don't have to omit his voice.
When he first was let go, I posted after the first event that happened, or sorry, the last one he was involved with. I think it had to do with Ronda and Nunes. There was no farewell, right? So on social media, Frank Trigg said, it's not a retirement. He was let go. Because I had compared it to a guy named Vern Lundquist who called football for many years on CBS and recently, well, actually CBS mostly. And after 50 years, I think, they had him in studio the final day of previewing games and stuff like that. And then he got a chance to sign off. Vin Scully, another example, right? And so Trigg and I are talking on social media, and he says, but it wasn't a retirement. It was basically someone letting go, and that's how it is in entertainment. Now, I will defer to Trigg mostly on things like this because, A, he's broadcasted, B, he knows the entertainment business better, right? But, you know, at the same time, we've been doing this for 10 years, so I know some stuff. And my counterpoint would be, because I listen to MMA Roasted a lot, and Trigg co-hosted, and he brought that incident up. He goes, I was arguing with Gorgeous George. We weren't really arguing. We were discussing. But my point is if he was let go, because he kind of compared it to, like, in The Office, they give you a box, and they go, today's your last day. Mm-hmm. Well, Goldberg was let go, or told he was going to be let go in December, but he still did 3 events. He did Sacramento, Ronda Rousey, one other one. I forget who it was. So it wasn't like, you're fired, we don't like it, you know. It was basically like, you're coming to a close in December. So they didn't have those harsh feelings towards them. It wasn't pick up a box and get out of here. It's like, hey, we're going to do 3 shows. So that showed some love and affinity for him, some respect, right? Therefore, I thought it's not exactly like a firing, even though it's not a retirement, and that's why I felt like he deserved a little bit more that night. Joe Rogan has come out and said that he was instructed that they didn't want him to say anything, but Joe was always flown by the seat of his pants, and I think he could have put his hand down and for 30 seconds said, Mike, this is our last call, but we did it our way, touch the mics, anything, I love you, brother, you know what I mean? Something like that, and then left the building or whatever. And I felt after so many great calls that he's done over the years, whether you like them or not, he is part of UFC history.
Yeah.
He also was a team player for many years. So that's why I felt like he deserved it.
I could also see a scenario where maybe they had that talk off air, and I could see Goldberg saying, don't put yourself in that situation. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
can see that happen too. So
maybe. I don't know. All right, we're going to take this commercial. We'll come back. We'll wrap up. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Okay, here we go.
By the way, no one voted that.
What happened there, Sam?
I was just previewing some music.
Oh, okay.
About,
Thought we were coming back.
Yeah. No.
I get paid to say things in this cool voice, and they get paid to be lame. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
I just want to say one thing. I heard Conor McGregor's flying in from Ireland. They're saying there's talks of him settling up with the NSAC, talking with TMT, that's the money team, and then the UFC about this potential matchup. I saw tweets from Brett Okamoto. It seems like he has a good idea of what might be happening with that. And, of course, if we get anything on Junkie, we'll put it up. In the meantime, it's just nothing to me, honestly. So maybe there'll be more to discuss tomorrow. Joseph, we're going to do rapid fire. Just 5 seconds is what I need from you on these answers, just so we can address these people on Facebook chat that have been chatting for the last couple hours.
I love it.
Kazem from Toronto says,
we're on.
Happy Singles Awareness Day, but you're not a single. You have a Valentine.
Yes.
So I think he's just wishing it for anybody that's out there that's single.
Thank you.
Get candy and Mexican food, according to Angel Quintero. You have plans for later?
So me and my wife have a great tradition of Wingstop every Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And just a Wingstop feast. That's been like years in the making because restaurants, nice restaurant stuff is packed. We love each other every day. But you know what's not packed on Valentine's? Wingstop.
All right.
So we get over there. It's delicious.
Let's see here. And that was the next question. What are your plans? I hope you're doing something nice for Megan.
Hit 2 with one stone.
Let's see here. Joseph, never heard these stories. I'm glad you're putting yourself out there for others to learn from. MMA saves lives, according to Danny Creighton.
Thank you, Danny Creighton.
Robert Rodriguez, I want to hear Joe's point of view on UFC 208. Can you sum it up quickly?
Very competitive fights. I think for a casual fan and everything, they could go in and obviously there's a lot of decisions, but that just means the fights were great matchups and competitive. In my realm, and in my thought. But
Tanya Snyder wants to know what you think of the Holly fight. Hits after the bell, ref not taking a point.
That was tough. I think maybe a point should have been taken away. It was a good fight anyway. I don't think, you can't really say the decision was a close fight.
Yeah, from what we heard was, and Tyler Margison says Benavidez is a killer. Joseph Mosqueda says, how did you score Spurs tickets? What's it like watching your team at MSG?
Yeah. I talked about that earlier. My wife did most of the footwork. Well, actually, she did the footwork for the tickets, and then our UFC security guard, Ken, who knows security guards for the Spurs, did the footwork with me getting on the court and getting to meet the guys.
Can I ask you something about that?
Yeah.
If if they would have said, yeah, you get to get on the floor and all that, but you got to wear a Knicks jersey because that's just kind of what we do, would you have done it?
No.
Solid.
Yeah.
I hope you get the fight versus DJ in the summer.
Me too.
And if not, then whatever it is, obviously we'll cover it.
Yeah.
No matter what. But
Yeah.
I think you deserve it. 6 fights is plenty.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, I'm ready. So yeah, I really, like I said, I think that is the only option. After the show, like you said, I mean, it should have been guaranteed whoever won that. We fought on the same card. You know, DJ won, I won, let's fight. Especially after that, which really, you know, not that you need a reward for that because it's in its own thing, but I mean, you know, we put a lot of work into that division, and you know, I think a lot of stars were built after that. We poured, like, you know, everything we had into that and that last show, so or I did anyway. So, you know, I think it's warranted. But even, you know, aside from that, you know, 6 wins in a row against all the top guys, you know, I think that's the only option. I'm just saying, if they want another option, you know, I'll fight another guy as well.
Follow Joseph on Twitter @Jiu-Jitsu. Todd Grisham on Twitter @GrishamMMA. Sam, great job as always. Goes, you were awesome. I took it to another level. I was fantastic. I got to give myself props. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. For Joseph and Goes and Sam, I'm George. Go out there, be a champion.
We're done.
Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas!